Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marcos Shiley, and by the following. By viewers like you. Thank you.
In a few weeks, more than 400 employees at one of San Diego's premier companies will be out of a job. Thank you for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Qualcomm says weak demand for smartphones is to blame. KPBS reporter John Carroll talked to an economic expert to put the Qualcomm layoffs into perspective.
It's Wednesday, June 21st. One of San Diego's largest employers is laying off hundreds of employees.
415 people in mainly high-paying, as in six-figure jobs, will be gone from Qualcomm by mid-July. That's out of nearly 13,000 employees at company headquarters here in San Diego. We asked University of San Diego economics professor Alan Jin to characterize how those losses will impact the overall economy here.
This will be a hit, but it's not going to be a large hit. You hate to see people lose their jobs, but again, in terms of the overall economy, this one situation is not going to have a big impact.
The layoffs won't come as a surprise to anyone who follows financial news. Qualcomm reports sales of chips that are used in smartphones were down 17% from last year. The company's net income fell 42% in the first quarter of this year. Jin says the pandemic gets a lot of the blame.
The technology company just expanded rapidly to take advantage of the fact that people were doing things online. They needed electronic gadgets and so on, and they might have overhired.
The layoffs are happening against the backdrop of a fairly robust economy in San Diego County.
Our unemployment rate is 3.7%. That's really low. And we're adding jobs at a pretty healthy pace.
But Jin says the Qualcomm news provides a note of caution.
The worry is that we're seeing layoffs in other companies then as well. But right now, job growth is strong, the unemployment rate is low, so hopefully those people then will be able to find employment elsewhere.
Those people, along with 80 from Qualcomm's Bay Area operations who are losing their jobs as well. A sour economic note one hopes doesn't become a harbinger. John Carroll, KPBS News.
California's homeless population is getting older. The median age of homeless people in the state is 47, according to a new report. KPBS health reporter Matt Hoffman has more on how homeless Californians see a lack of affordable housing as a cause of homelessness and a barrier to getting out of it.
Researchers from the University of California, San Francisco spoke with 3,200 homeless Californians to get a picture of who experiences homelessness and why. A majority said a monthly subsidy of $300 to $500 could have prevented them from becoming homeless and could help them get housed again.
We need a statewide investment, and my argument is the state of California is spending over $3 billion a year on homelessness and housing services. And look at the numbers. The numbers continue to go up. So how about we try something different?
Serving Senior CEO Paul Downey has been advocating for a bill that would create a statewide rental subsidy program. It would be for seniors and those with disabilities. The county has a rental subsidy pilot program for just over 200 people, and the city of San Diego has one for 300 households. Downey says, especially for seniors on fixed incomes, the program can make all the difference.
People want to remain in their home. They don't want to go into a transitional situation or end up on the street.
Nearly 90% of homeless residents interviewed in the study say they want housing, but rising costs are a major barrier.
Housing that people can afford or assistance to be able to stay in housing in this market is what people really need.
Tamara Kohler leads San Diego's Regional Task Force on Homelessness. She says right now, for every 10 San Diegans that are housed, 13 fall into homelessness. And while there is a lack of affordable housing, a rental subsidy can help people from losing their homes.
It is far cheaper and is also much more humane, and it allows people to stay out of the crisis experience.
The report also found 90% of those interviewed lost their housing in California, with 75% experiencing homelessness in the same county as their last home. Those numbers match closely with what officials in San Diego see.
My hope is that this report, if anyone is still holding on to some of those untruths, that we embrace the truth about people experiencing homelessness. They are our neighbors. They were last housed, last worked here, last participated in community events here, and that we want housing that's affordable for our communities.
Kohler says this report underscores the need for additional investment to keep homelessness from growing. Matt Hoffman, KPBS News.
UC San Diego students have struggled to find affordable housing, or in some cases housing of any kind. The La Jolla campus currently serves more than 43,000 students. KPBS education reporter MG Perez tells us how UCSD is building solutions for the housing problem.
There's lots of noise being made at and about new construction on the campus of UC San Diego this week. These buildings started going up about a year ago. Welcome to what will become Pepper Canyon West, apartment housing for 1,300 transfer and upper division undergraduate students. There are also plans for more living space to help postgraduate student employees who survive contract to contract.
I've had friends who, once our contracts were up, like they didn't have anywhere else to go, really, and so we were like trying to figure out where they were going to go.
You have to use your imagination to visualize this lot with older campus buildings becoming the new Triton Student Center in about 3 years. The buildings are coming down in a few weeks and construction begins. This architect's rendering shows in light blue all the space that will house a health center, counseling offices, and this stunning alumni and welcome center.
Really, a lot of this is about access.
Robert Clausen is the director of campus planning. He knows every detail of every new project being built to solve the housing crisis here. That includes the Ridgewalk North complex, billed as a 2,400-bed residential village. This will be complete in 3 years, too.
Really, what we're trying to do is provide the ability to accommodate as many students as we can. So in the future, be able to provide all of that access for students, high school students, as they're thinking about where they want to go to college.
UC San Diego is not only building new housing and facilities, there is also a rebranding happening here. What you see is now referred to as a living and learning neighborhood. And there was a capital campaign to raise $3 billion to pay for it. That's billions with a B. The payoff is that by fall 2024, a student can rent a one-bedroom apartment in the Pepper Canyon West building for about $1,200, well below market price.
I'm personally really happy about it because it enables a lot of students, those who are from abroad, can actually, live on campus, experience the campus life, and also hopefully this turn out to be cheaper.
That is worth making some noise about. MG Perez, KPBS News.
The San Diego City Council on Tuesday voted to uphold the designation of a vacant library as a historic resource. KPBS Metro reporter Andrew Bowen says since its designation, the property has fallen into disrepair.
The Mission Hills Branch Library was built in 1961. It was shuttered in 2019 when a new library was built a few blocks away. Shortly thereafter, former Mayor Kevin Faulkner sought to use the property for affordable housing. But in 2020, the city's Historic Resources Board declared the building historically significant. That put strict limits on the site's redevelopment. A neighborhood resident appealed the decision to the city council, saying historic preservation was being weaponized to block affordable housing in a wealthy community.
Too many of my fellow residents spend their nights on the street because they can't afford to pay the rent or a mortgage. Some have support needs, but most just need a place to put their head. Today's item is first and foremost about the city's historic designation process being used to prevent affordable housing in Mission Hills.
The City Council can only consider factual or procedural errors when deciding whether to overturn a property's historic designation. And Councilmember Stephen Whitburn, whose district includes Mission Hills, said he wasn't convinced.
In carefully reading the appellant's letter of appeal and carefully reading the city staff response to each of the grounds for appeal, I do think that our city staff makes a persuasive argument that there was no procedural error in this case.
Even with the historic designation, the former library joins a long list of dilapidated city properties with an uncertain future. Mayor Todd Gloria told KPBS he still wants to use the site for affordable housing, but he declined to offer details or commit to a timeline. Andrew Bowen, KPBS News.
The city of San Diego is expanding parental leave benefits for city workers. Mayor Todd Gloria signed a package of resolutions today. The resolutions include doubling the amount of parental leave from 4 weeks to 8, eliminating the 30-day waiting period for disability benefits for pregnant employees and those disabled by childbirth-related conditions. It also changes eligibility requirements from 1-year minimum employment requirement to 30 days. For any family, the death of a child is the single most tragic event that they can imagine. But what happens when the baby has no family? KPBS video journalist Matthew Bowler brings us this story of the Garden of Innocence, the final resting place for abandoned children.
Someday I'll wish upon a star and wake up where the clouds are far behind me.
The Knights of Columbus assemble just to the left of Our Lady of Guadalupe.
Present. Sword.
The MC invites everyone to form a circle of love around the perimeter. And we pass it around so everybody gets a chance to touch the baby and have the baby touch them. When it gets around to everybody, then we put it on the table, and then the guest minister opens up with an opening prayer. I'd now like to ask Deacon Montoya to offer up the opening prayer.
Today, we are saddened because of the loss of our 3 innocent babies. But at the same time, the heavenly hosts rejoice because now they have no pain. They are with their Creator. The angels and the saints rejoice, and they are being given a new life.
Alan Musterer. I'm the director and president of the San Diego chapter of Garden of Innocence. When the baby has no one's come forward for that baby, then they call us up. We are non-denominational. We do non-religious. It's just whoever we get as volunteers.
So the Garden of Innocence provides dignified burials for abandoned children. How is this a thing? You wouldn't think this is a thing. My name is Cody Hitchcock. I am the music director of the Garden of Innocence San Diego. We have faith in humanity that we have this here. Things have happened that have brought us to this, but that's okay. We just pray for whatever may have brought us here, and then we're here and we're taking care of them and making this a positive experience.
We'll now read the names of the 220 babies in the garden.
Jaron, Angel, Luke, Craig,
Myron, Peter, Nicholas, Nancy,
Alice, Sue, Guy, Scott, Kendra, Dennis, Roger, Karan, Marcian, David, Rose, Maximo,
Jean, Jerome.
And now that child has a family, and they were bringing them to the garden as a larger family.
Why, oh, why can't I
And that story was produced by KPBS video journalist Matthew Buller. And this Saturday, the Garden is hosting the annual car show and fundraiser at the El Camino Memorial Park. You can go to kpbs.org for more information.
I'm Jeff Bennett. Tonight on the NewsHour, the latest on the submersible that went missing on a voyage to see the Titanic. Coming up at 7 after Evening Edition on KPBS.
The U.S. House of Representatives has voted to censure Democratic Congressman Adam Schiff for comments made during Trump's presidency. GOP Representative Anna Paulina Luna brought a revamped measure to the House floor today. The vote fell along party lines. The resolution says Schiff deceived the American people for saying there was evidence of collusion between Trump's campaign and Russia. Schiff was the leading prosecutor in Trump's first impeachment trial. The Ethics Committee will now launch an investigation into his conduct. He is now the 25th House lawmaker to be censured. Right now, it's a race against time, 400 nautical miles from the coast in the Atlantic Ocean, as search crews comb the sea for a submarine that went missing while taking passengers on a tour to explore the Titanic wreckage on Sunday. Chris Wynn has the latest.
The minutes melt away on search crews' potential to find people alive as oxygen runs short on board the missing Titan submersible.
The surface search is now approximately 2 times the size of Connecticut, and the subsurface search is up to 2.5 miles deep, exponentially expanding the size of the search area.
The longer it takes, the less likely that, a positive outcome will occur.
But all hope is not lost. Cutting through the darkness of the deep sea, consistent banging noises have been detected during the search.
We don't know the source of that noise, but we've shared that information with Navy experts to classify it. In the meantime, it's a target, it's a focus for us to look at. And so we've deployed the remote operated vehicles and the surface vessel, the Canadian Coast Guard surface vessel that has sonar capability in the vicinity.
You can't ignore the banging, and you don't have time to wait to analyze the sounds exactly. So you have to assume, I think, that they're human-made.
Until the sub is found, there's more questions than answers as to what happened. Right now, all experts can do is speculate.
Was there a problem with the porthole? Was it a problem with the pressure? Was it a problem with the valve? But if a submersible doesn't go back to the surface on itself, on its own, it's really that there is a deep problem.
Chris Wynn, KPBS News.
Imperial Beach officials are bracing for a disappointing summer as the city's main tourist beach remains off limits to swimming. KPBS environment reporter Eric Anderson has details.
The plea was clear this week as San Diego County lawmakers insisted it's time for the federal government to declare a federal state of emergency because of cross-border sewage flows. Imperial Beach's main tourist attraction hasn't been open for swimming once this year.
We've had a record-setting 179 consecutive days of this stretch of beach, our premier stretch of beach, closed this year, so that's very unusual for us.
Aguirre is worried tourists who visit this year might not come back because the ocean is off limits. That would pinch the city's tourist economy. She says a broken Mexican sewage plant a few miles south of the border is one culprit.
It's discharging 40 million gallons of sewage per day, and that's a very significant amount of sewage. So add that to the unusually high river flow, we're getting a double whammy on the impact to our beach.
Billions of gallons of sewage-tainted water crossed the border into the U.S. ocean waters since the first of the year. Strong rain events got the blame early, but it's been dry for a month.
We're still seeing flow down the Tijuana River, which is unusual because in past years at this time, the flow would be, there wouldn't be any flow. We'd have the Tijuana River would be dry.
Rogers says federal officials on this side of the border are trying to understand what's happening in Mexico.
That's what we need to figure out, and that's what we're investigating right now.
Local officials hope a federal emergency declaration will open access to resources that can help stem the flow of sewage into the ocean. They say enough is enough. Eric Anderson, KPBS News.
Further north along the coast, hundreds of marine mammals have been sickened or even killed by toxic algae blooms this month. Experts say harmful algae is growing at rapid rates, and it produces a neurotoxin which causes symptoms that lead to animal strandings. Animals like seabirds, sea lions, and dolphins ingest the toxin from the fish that they eat.
So we see seizure activity, epileptic-like seizures in the animals, vomiting, a lot of times severe vomiting, dehydration. They could also present as very lethargic and unresponsive, but they could also be very aggressive out on the beaches.
Experts are warning beachgoers and their pets to stay clear of stranded animals. The animals could carry the toxin as well as other diseases that may be harmful to your pets. It was a not-so-good run, but California has been dethroned as America's most expensive state for gas. That title now belongs to Washington, where the average cost of regular gasoline jumped 32 cents in the past month. According to AAA, it now costs $4.93 a gallon. Meanwhile, Mississippi has the cheapest gas at $3 a gallon. Overall, the national average for gas is down nearly $1.50, less than it was this time last year. And speaking about energy prices, today is the first official day of summer, and some places in the country are already dealing with record-breaking heat, and those warmer temperatures mean higher utility bills. Jen Sullivan has some tips on how to keep costs down.
And then here, it goes up to $200.
Bracing for a hot summer with high utility bills as costs for water, electricity, and even gas tends to climb as the temperatures rise.
It's going to be a long summer. Now it's a matter of, will I have enough money for rent?
According to the U.S. Energy Information Administration, average electricity prices expected to rise about 2% from last year. And while the latest consumer price index showed energy costs decline 3.6% in May, prices are still too high for some Americans.
I think of the people who are going to have to make choices between paying their electricity bill, paying for food, paying for medicine or health care.
Here are 5 tips to keep utility bills down this summer. Number 1, use your dishwasher instead of hand washing. While it does use electricity, it saves energy and water. The U.S. Department of Energy says that could save you thousands of gallons of water each year. Also, air dry the dishes to reduce your dishwasher's energy. Number 2, raise the thermostat and use a fan. Raising the temperature and using a fan can help you use less energy running your air conditioner. Number 3, switch to more efficient bulbs. LED bulbs use at least 75% less energy than incandescent lighting. Number 4, use cold water when you wash laundry. The Department of Energy says 90% of the electricity used to wash a load goes towards heating the water. Number 5, check the air ducts. Holes, clogs, and leaks can lower your HVAC's efficiency. For today's Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
All right, let's get you started with some of our headlines here. That marine layer making a comeback, so cooler conditions sticking around. Meanwhile, gusty winds for the mountains and desert locations. And if you want to be outside and you like the warmer weather, it will be a little bit warmer by the time we head into the weekend. Let's take a look at our temperatures through tonight. Oceanside, 54. San Diego, you drop to 62. Borrego Springs down to 63. And Mount Laguna, temperatures down into the lower 50s. Then we look ahead to our day on Thursday here as we track that low just offshore. Some cooler conditions in, especially Fresno, San Francisco, and some showers up near Redding. Meanwhile, we should stay dry, but the humidity makes a little bit of a come back into San Diego, where temperatures will be into the upper 60s for our day tomorrow. Low 70s at Oceanside, Borrego Springs, 93 degrees, and Mount Laguna temperatures into the lower 60s. Then as we head throughout our day Friday, kind of more of the same here with some of those cooler temperatures on the way. Then looking at our 5-day forecast for the coast. Low 70s on tap for the rest of the week into the weekend. We'll deal with those low clouds Thursday, Friday, Saturday, but then a little more sunshine by Sunday and Monday. Your 5-day outlook inland will take temperatures into the low to mid 70s. We'll see some of those clouds as we head into the end of the week. But then look at temperatures by the end of the weekend and the start of next week. We'll be back to the lower 80s by Monday. Your 5-day outlook for the mountains keeps temperatures cooler into the 60s, but that gradual warming trend as we head into the weekend. 64 on Saturday, 68 on Sunday, but a little bit breezy, and then temperatures near 70 by the time we head into the day on Monday. All right, we leave you with the 5-day outlook for the deserts, where actually we get a little break from the heat. Low 90s for Thursday and Friday. It will be breezy, though, as we head into the day tomorrow. And then temperatures quick to rise by Saturday, 99 degrees. And then we're back to the triple-digit heat as we head into Sunday, Monday, and we'll keep plenty of sunshine. For KPBS News, I'm Ariella Scalise.
A group of local moms has created a space to give other moms a chance to relax and recharge. It's called the Lola Bar, and it's located in Carlsbad. It's a wellness cafe that offers self-care services and workshops, and those include activities like meditation, postpartum mental health, parenting for picky eaters, and so much more. Moms can even unwind and get their nails done while their little ones enjoy the play gym.
I had a latte during my pedicure, and it felt like almost like being on vacation.
That's what I needed when I was a mom. I needed that 2-hour little break, any breaks at all, because you're a mom 24/7, right? And I wanted to be with my daughter, but you still need that little break and time off.
And if you're interested in going, it's important to note, though, parents must be on site at all times if their kids are there too. And here's a look at what we're working on for tomorrow in the KPBS newsroom. NPR's Morning Edition speaks with a health policy researcher about what the word epidemic means when it comes to gun violence. And then on Midday Edition, we'll be talking about the pushback against a proposed ordinance requiring San Diego police to have probable cause before stopping or searching someone. And you can find tonight's stories on our website, kpbs.org. Thanks for joining us. I'm Maya Trabulsi. Good night.
Major funding for KPBS Evening Edition has been made possible in part by Bill Howe Family of Companies, providing San Diego with plumbing, heating and air, restoration, flood and remodeling services for over 40 years. Call 1-800-BILL-HOWE or visit billhowe.com. And by the Conrad Prebys Foundation, Darlene Marco Shiley, and by the following: by viewers like you. Thank you.